everybody. Welcome to another open mic podcast. If this is the first time you have watched these podcasts, I always say in the beginning that open mic means nothing is off the table. We just take topics and go wherever we go and wherever we land. And once again, I have, well, first of all, I'm your host, Julie Nolan, and I have my Ed McMahon sidekick. Sometimes I refer to her as my Blondashian, fellow
Yes.
Blondashian.
Yes, I
But
need to work on them.
tonight you're wearing kind of two hats, a Blondashian and executive director of the Chamber.
Correct.
And tonight we are so excited because Melrose finally has a brewery, a dream of my husband's for many years. It's called Hannah's Brewery, and we have Mike Snow and Jason Taggart with us that co-own the brewery. And we're just going to break it down. We're going to find out why, who, what, where, and maybe even have a drink or two. So, Mike, Jason, tell me, how did this get started? What's cooking?
Too many nights in a garage during COVID. We were just got into brewing and really just messing around during COVID and started really thinking about it. Jason had been a brewer for a long time previous, another company, Democracy Brewing, and it was after many beers of trying, and we could probably just do this here.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's research, right?
Yeah,
Right?
that's
It's
definitely
research and
research.
development.
Sure.
Now, are you guys lifelong friends? You're both longtime Melrose residents, right?
Yeah, so we were in high school together, but we didn't necessarily know each other too much. We were kind of all in the music scene, if you will. And then several years later, I've been in a bagpipe band for about 15 years now. And one of the gentlemen in the band knew Mike, told him that he knew he was a drummer, so come down and check it out. And we kind of struck up the friendship there. So it's been a minute.
So it's brewing, it's music,
Yeah.
it's bagpipes.
I love it.
No housework getting done whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what mornings are for. Get a lot of housework
Yeah,
done.
there you go. But anyway, so that's really neat that you grew up here and now you're having this brewery here. You were a brewer or still a brewer, obviously, but that was your background.
Yes, yeah. So I come from about almost, over 20 years now of brewing. Started off actually working at it was a little brewery in Harvard Square, one of the first ones in Boston, John Harvard's Brew House. And I was actually bartending, serving there, and I was pretty blown away that they had a brewery behind the bar. So I was super interested, and I started talking to the brewer, just picking his brain. I'm like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? And funny enough, they were looking for a part-time brewer, and when I interviewed, I was a mechanic in a former life as well. I worked at Lucy's service station right down on Main Street.
Oh my
Little
God.
plug for the boys.
Yeah, love the guys at Lucy's.
We do love them.
I had a little mechanical experience, and that goes a long way in a brewery. So he could tell how excited and interested I was in getting into the brewing industry.
Yeah, and having
so.
that energy.
Yeah.
What did you do before?
I did a lot of things.
These people, I feel so boring right
right?
now.
I know.
What do you do? Well, I do a podcast.
He's going to start to unwind, and it's going to be all these awesome things.
Yeah.
I worked at a radio station for a decade, pretty much doing just about everything. I was going to be Howard Stern, that didn't work out. Ended up doing a lot of promotions and marketing and running events. And then I've been running music festivals for about 10 years now since then.
That is hysterical because I worked for sports radio WEI doing marketing and giving away prizes and all that good stuff.
That's
And
it.
same here. I didn't exactly get, the Howard Stern level.
No?
No, not yet.
Yeah, still time.
There is time.
I had good teaching, and they said, okay, you're ready. We got friends in Buffalo and Montana and this and that. I was like, yeah, I wasn't really going to leave here. My wife's in grad school, and that was it. I never did another shift. The guy was like, this is not an amateur hour here. You're in a top 10 radio market.
Yeah.
And that was it. He's like, have fun with your little promotions.
That's great.
So-
That's great. So it's just one of these things.
Montana. I like
You know,
that.
people talk about the pandemic on so many different levels, but this is like a great story. This is like inspiring, because it stunk, and we were all, just stuck, not knowing what to do with ourselves. Obviously, we should have gotten to know them,
Right, exactly.
so we could go to the garage.
Right?
Hello.
We could have just walked down.
Yeah. So Hannah's Brewery is right next door to MMTV, so they didn't have to travel too far, just steps,
Right.
right?
I do have to say, I
Please.
joke, if you told high school me that we were going to have a brewery, I'd be like, come on. absolutely not. And I know there are tons of Melrosians that are still pinching themselves.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
How do we actually have this gym in downtown now?
I mean, I think my husband was the first person through the door
yeah.
on your opening day. It
Sure.
was just hysterical. But I have to ask, how did you come up with the name Hannah?
So naming things is hard. Jason doesn't love naming beers. It's always just hard. So it was we were tossing things around. You know, we wanted the space to feel a certain way. We wanted it to be super welcoming. We wanted it to be sort of up to the standard of like the businesses that already exist in Melrose. So we went to all kinds of different breweries, you know, from hyper masculine to hyper feminine, and it matters. Brewing has had a kind of a odd pass through the pandemic. So we really wanted it to be sort of softer and welcoming as a name. So I don't remember how it happened.
Yeah, I don't remember the like inflection point,
I'm
but
guessing it was in the garage.
I was just
It
going
was
to
in
say,
the
right?
garage,
This was a
sure.
garage night.
It was
so
a
it's little
late night
fuzzy.
in the garage.
But yeah, so I mean, as Mike said, we're trying to like find that welcoming sort of aspect of it, and what we sort of landed on is like, excuse me, the tradition of our families, the tradition of like Melrose and this
Yep.
and that, and so when I first started getting into craft beers, because I started traveling overseas to Scotland a lot, because that's where my family's from. So I'd go into these little pubs and stuff, and I'd see all this like really interesting, like, it's called cask style ale, where it's served in the vessel it's poured from, or it's fermented in the vessel that it's poured from. So you find these big beer engines, and I was so like taken aback by it. And from that, that's kind of what really sparked my interest in craft beer. And my Auntie Hannah, who I used to stay with, she would go out and get me all these like interesting beers and stuff. And it just so happens when we were tossing around names, I kind of thought of that. And then Mike's like, oh yeah, my great-grandmother's Hannah as well.
I have Nana Hannah.
Nana Hannah.
So we were like, okay,
Auntie
like
Hannah
like
and Nana
you
Hannah.
know,
I
I love
can't
it.
even.
these were welcoming people.
Yes.
It seemed like a good idea, right? Like
Like a good vibe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's
Yeah.
a good name with good memories, and
That's
I love
it.
that.
I mean,
I
and
love
that's
that.
kind of what we're trying to purport here is like the memories of, you know, our families, of our, you know, our guests' families and all that. Like it's about, you know, kind of tradition. I mean, we're from here. Everybody's from here, so.
So when
I
you-
love important names. Sorry
Go
to
ahead,
interrupt
no
you.
worries.
Is there a picture of Nana Hannah and Auntie Hannah in there? I hope.
Nana Hannah's made it. We've been wrestling the printer to get onto
Okay. I love that because I imagine that probably is going to be asked a lot if it hasn't already. You know, where'd you get the name? Where did it come from? And Melrose is so rich with history, and I love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I love it.
It's perfect.
It's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when you worked at, I forget, with
John Hubbard's.
Yeah. Compared to their brewery to this, is it like, is this much smaller? Is it the same size? Like, how does it work?
Well, it's tough to say. The brewery at John Hubbard's was not set up for what it was used for. It was built in the early 90s when they were basically just going to have 4 beers on. And that's kind of like what craft beer was back then. It was just like a couple beers, you go into your local pub, and, you know, they have these servings or whatever. It was also a bar. It had full, like, cocktail, you know, program and all that. But so by the time I got there, they had, you know, 8 beers on tap, and they were wrangling all these like beer lines and trying to like get more tanks in and stuff like that. So that was always quite a game to play over there, where you're just always like wrestling, like, oh my God, I don't know where to put this, I don't know where to do that.
Right.
And you know, there's also been a lot of developments on tanks and stuff like that. I know that's probably a more boring topic, but like, you know,
Not really.
No,
No, I'm just fascinated.
I know.
yeah,
the whole
so
process.
the way that they've developed tanks over the last 20 so years, I mean, they've always been around, but it become more prevalent. So they've become more economical in the way that you use them now. So you can do a lot of things in one tank instead of having to transfer it to a bunch. So all that being said, it's just we wanted to get to a point where it's like, I'm not, you know, there 15 hours a day just moving beer around and stuff like that. So we came up with like an idea of like, okay, this is what the tap room can hold capacity-wise, and that sort of dictated like how many tanks, like what I'm going to be brewing.
So how many
barrels.
guests you can have in your bar dictates how much beer more or less you
More or
need
less,
to be prepared.
yeah.
That
A
makes
couple other
sense.
factors, but yeah, you don't want to oversize your system because then you're just sitting on
Yeah.
product for too long, and then you
Yeah.
want to undersize it and working, you know, 15-hour days.
And the whole idea of the brewing is that it's fresh. You want the
That's
right
exactly
out
right.
of the,
That's why you go to the craft
right?
breweries.
I don't know. Do I sound like I know
Yeah,
what I'm
Right?
doing?
you absolutely, you're
got
selling
it.
it, Jules. You're selling it. So can you talk to us a little bit about like how long it takes to brew? Like I've seen the back room and I'm just like so impressed by it, and I'm like, wow, I want to spend a day with you and just learn.
Oh, sure. I mean, we'll welcome that. So basically, you got 2 different types of styles of beer, or not styles, just kinds of beer. You got ales and lagers, generally speaking. Ales ferment a lot faster. They ferment at higher temperatures, right around like 70 degrees, give or take. So that takes only about 3 to 5 days to ferment.
That's not bad.
And then you age that, for any given period of time. There's a point of diminishing returns where you just like, it's done, it's ready to go. So that could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, sometimes a little longer. On the other side of things, there's lagers, which ferment much colder, about 53 degrees. So that takes a lot longer, so more like 7 to 10 days. That's why you don't see a lot of craft breweries doing lagers. And then from that, lagers definitely take...
Jason's really smart.
Yeah.
Just been doing it for a long time. Lagers take a lot longer to age because lager means cellar, so you want to cellar it for over a month. So it just ties up a lot of tank space, which in our sort of industry, you want to keep things moving all the time. Nevertheless, we do have a couple lagers on, so because I love them.
Like, do your clients come in and say, I love this, could you do this? Do you get that kind of?
We get it all.
Do people give you feedback?
Right after Who's Hannah.
Yeah.
What was our, so our top 3, it was Who's Hannah, and then it was, there was one other question I'm blanking on, and then the third question was, are you open to suggestions?
That's awesome.
And you were like, no, but go ahead.
Love to hear it.
There's a comment card right out by the, you have to
We're
go to
not gonna read.
MMTV for it.
Yeah, there's a bucket over at MMTV with comments.
Yeah, start a podcast.
Okay,
hilarious.
so you've brought, I know what it's called a flight, because my husband loves to get those. So what have you brought us? What can you tell us? Who's drinking what?
We brought you a little card.
Okay.
We brought you the 2 of our newer, Jason's newer beers, the number 40 and the no pulp.
Number 40.
Number 40 was named after one of Jason's high school buddies' basketball numbers,
I
who
love
passed
it.
away. And then Hazy
Oh,
Hannah.
that's awesome.
Hazy Hannah is our IPA, our standard cloudy IPA that will always be on the menu. And then Scones Time is just sort of a joke on our designer, Cal, who helped us design the space. She just loves sconces.
I love it.
And we ended up with a couple of
Does
sconces.
she know she's got one on the menu?
We texted her the other day,
Okay.
but she doesn't know yet. She's
Okay.
coming in, but
she's big time now
It
that
sounds
she's a
like a
city
little bit of
councilor,
mocking,
you know?
but I don't know.
well,
No time for the little guys.
so
Cal-
needless to say,
Cal warrants mocking.
Yeah, we added these sconces. The electrical inspector didn't like the way that they were installed, so we needed to get battery-operated light bulbs, which come with a remote. So we have sconce time every night when you turn the sconces on.
That's hysterical.
So then that's
They only last a certain amount of time.
You only get so much out of the
awesome.
battery. So this is
I love it.
an espresso stout. So
Okay.
we're trying to keep up with the internal Melrose jokes on some of the names, but then some of the names don't mean anything,
I
so
love it.
people
Yeah,
get
but
very confused.
Yeah.
Don't you have like a West Wyoming or something like that?
Yeah, we were doing, the Hazy Hannah is a New England style IPA, which has become very popular and stuff. And, I kind of cut my teeth on beer by doing West Coast IPAs, which are much hoppier, much
West
bolder.
Wyoming.
So that's why we make a West Coast style IPA. We call them all the West Streets.
I love it.
Yeah, we haven't made it to West Emerson yet.
No, yeah,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
coming.
It's on the agenda.
I will say the Scones Time was one of the samples at our networking event that we hosted a couple weeks ago, and it was so delicious and so popular. People were like, espresso? What? But
Yeah, just
delish.
a lot of cold brew in that.
Yep.
It's got a big buzz around town, your brewery.
Great.
Just the outside seating. Sometimes you have a food truck. I think, did you open on St. Patrick's Day?
That was
Or-
like our big opening.
So like you had a soft opening.
Yeah,
and then
so
you
the
had-
Wednesday before, we just, we kind of looked around, we're like, are we ready? And we were
Yeah.
like, okay, let's do that. And then Thursday, we were like, okay, like we kind of worked out the kinks on the POS system and all that. And we were like, all right, let's do it again. And then like, it just kept going fairly well. And so we were just like, all right, I guess we're opening.
It was not really super planned that way. It was just one of those, okay, like something's gonna break, right? So just open, and then when it breaks, we'll just not open the next day.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Work out those kinks.
Well, when I walked over to Hannah's and you were like watering the plants or something, and I said, I don't know, I think he might be the owner. I don't know. So I said, are you the owner? And you were so funny. You were like, maybe. Who's asking?
A lot of people looking for money.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say
I
you could be a
like,
bill
this
collector.
guy is fun. I'm already
Oh,
ready for this.
It was funny when you joked about like what the questions were, why is it named Hannah? I figured the second question would be, can you please donate to ... because that's another influx. But
Yeah, oh, yes.
it's part of what makes Melrose special.
for
know?
sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So far when I drive by, I always see, some crowd going in, so that's nice. Tell me your hours.
So it's Wednesday,
We keep changing them.
4 to 9, Thursday, 4 to 10, Friday, 3 to 10, Saturday, 12 to 10, and then Sunday, 12 to 8.
Okay, yeah.
Instagram.
and-
Just
Yeah.
look on Instagram.
Yeah.
We have a Google account too, so.
Yeah, I guess you're seeing some Thursday night drinkers, and you're like, I better tap on another hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing, generally speaking, is just people will come in before dinner time. We don't have a kitchen at our tap room. We serve light snacks, but people come in before dinner, have a couple drinks, go to dinner, and then you sort of get the after dinner crowd, which
Yeah.
is great too. Like you get a little lull in between, which is nice. And
I will tell you, I have been at a couple of restaurants where it'll be 9 o'clock and they say, sorry, folks, last call. And they say, but you can go right down the road to Hannah's. And I was like, there we go. Business is supporting one
Been a
another.
been a very supportive community, so it's been
I
great.
mean, Richie from Giacomo's has like helped us a ton with just
Oh, he's a
infrastructure
love. Isn't
and
he
various
amazing?
things, and
He helped with the planters outside, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love that.
it's
Yeah.
been super welcoming. So that part's really good, and that was sort of the thing. It's like in speaking to them and Turner's, it's just like, well, okay, if you can get it so that maybe they'll eat there a little later, right? So they'll spread their crowd out, and then they don't mind sort of, all right, we're wrapping up and pushing them down the street
Yeah.
to us, and,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah,
would
it's a
all,
win-win.
it would all sort of work out. It's
Right.
like if there's a new reason for people from the surrounding communities to come to Melrose, check us out, and we can push them to the restaurants and vice versa. Like it's
Everyone
better
benefits.
for everybody. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
And I love the fact that you are encouraging people to bring food, to order food. There's something really cool about
I agree.
You stop by Petroni's, you get a pizza, or you call. Someone posted on St. Patrick's Day. Nothing says St. Patrick's Day like Kowloon at Hannah's Brewing Company because they were ordering Kowloon. But I was like, how awesome is that? Like you can. Because one style of food isn't going to appeal to anyone, and so that flexibility.
Yeah, and sort of what breweries always wrestle with is their kitchens, right? So we just wanted to focus, like, we want to be a nice
wanna
little
be-
tap room.
Focusing on the beer.
Exactly right.
Focusing on the
Exactly
beer.
right.
Speaking of which,
I know. Sorry.
what are we
sorry.
doing?
What are we doing here?
How do
let's
we-
let's get back to the beer.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Okay.
you can decide which way you want to go there.
okay, all right.
And
I
if
think
you
we
need
gotta.
any-
Don't we have to?
We have to start with
out of
number
respect
40.
for
That's a
number
light
40.
lager with lime added to it.
Love and named after your friend.
Yes.
And his name,
Mark Jackson.
Mark
Mark
Jackson.
Jackson.
All right.
All right, so I'll do this
Cheers.
side, you do
Is,
that
Cheers
side.
to
is
you,
what
Mark.
he's colloquially known for.
I'm not worried about germs. Love. No pulp, hazy Hannah. Okay.
Ooh,
I love the fact that it's got lime. Can I look at our
I do
cheat sheet
too.
here?
Of course.
Sure.
this is This is like a good, like, hot afternoon, sitting out.
Love it.
We didn't really plan it that way, but I think 90s are
It's
coming
turning
next
into
week,
it.
so I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Oh
gonna.
my God!
No,
you
that's
see
gonna
that?
be your-
Instant
yeah.
summer.
That's
You know
gonna
that
be
that's typical.
You're gonna love it, I think.
I don't want to date your YouTube, but next week, very hot.
I love that. Love. That's delicious.
Yeah,
Light lager with lime.
yeah.
All right.
No, that's
We don't get too
number 40.
complicated on the descriptions.
Why
Good,
would
because
you?
we can't handle that.
Yeah, and the people who really know beer will ask,
Yeah,
and the staff
exactly.
knows, or Jason or I will be around. So
All right, so this is no pulp. We're trying no pulp.
So that's a more, sort of pale ale, which it's a little stronger than a typical pale ale,
Okay.
but it's got a lot of like orange characteristics.
Oh, okay.
That's why we called it no pulp.
Notes of sweet and bitter orange. Now I'm a big
it
swag.
finishes totally different.
It does. It does. I like it though. This seems more like a fall
Okay.
for me.
All right.
You know, little breeze, maybe like a sweater.
Okay.
All right, I'm just.
So that's not next week. That's not.
That's not next week. That's
So that
not
means
gonna be-
scones
yeah.
time is like full North Pole, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
tell,
no, I like
are
that.
you family friendly? Is like are kids allowed?
Yeah, we had a whole soccer team in on Saturday.
Stop.
They
After they wrap their season?
they tested the infrastructure pretty well.
Amazing.
Love it.
If I had known that, we
know.
would have come.
Kids, they'll be like, "What? I thought we were going for ice cream." No,
Ooh,
it's
I
a
like
brewery. Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, we get plenty of games and everything, and,
Oh,
and the
smart.
families love to bring the kids in.
I really like that.
Yeah.
That's
It's
one
a
of-
little
that's-
richer.
That's one of our next sort of business ventures. One of our old staff came up with it. To try to go down and work with Lila Rose on getting new board games, and to just put up a little sign, you can buy this one at Lila Rose,
it's brilliant.
there's a whole culture of board games that we have a friend who's very, very interested in that I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like
amazing.
board games are back.
Board games are back.
And
Yeah.
you could partner with Mel Landon at the Worklery, who's amazing, who has a great following with her membership at the shared workspace. She does board game nights, but it'd be a heck of a lot more fun to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like do it here with the beverages and you
Yeah.
partner with maybe a restaurant that provides some snacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Now, did you guys go to Melrose High?
Yes.
Okay, but not the same year?
99.
96.
Okay.
So
Babe.
same
Same with
time
me.
frame.
Babies.
Yeah.
92, I turned 50
I'm
on
not
Monday.
even going there. That's not even, that's not anybody's business.
That's
There
right.
you
What
go.
year I graduated from Melrose
Exactly.
High School. Okay.
Exactly. Now you did start the questioning. I just want to make sure we're clear on that one, okay? Just before you attack.
Okay, yeah, I know.
All right. Let's
Am I a
try
little
the
sensitive?
Let's try the hazy Hannah.
All right, let's try the Hazy Hannah.
This is like
So what's your
cooking with Julia Child over here?
what's your bestseller right now? Is it the hazy
The
Hannah?
hazy, yeah, for sure. I'd like to think that it's because of it is really good, but I can't help but think that it's because the style is so popular.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll take it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
It's almost
Forgive me if
always
this
like the
is-
first beer
that people want to try.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know,
that makes
it's-
sense.
it's just
in the
they're-
spirit of,
Well, I think they're
Go.
very familiar with that style if they go to breweries. So it's just whether it's a benchmark or like you're saying, it would be interesting.
that's reasonable.
But speaking of the hazy
4
Hannah,
5-ounce pours?
we're going to be canning soon. We already do crowlers, 32-ounce crowlers
Okay.
to go, but we're going to be doing 16-ounce cans to go. So we'll be selling in 4-packs, and it'll be our first run's going to be the hazy Hannah.
Okay.
So we're hoping to have that ready for the 4th of July.
can you make the second number 40?
Yeah, you're
Sure.
you're reading my mind because I was literally thinking, now you've got the fridge. Are you going to have
Yep.
beers
Yeah.
to go? That's
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
Totally.
I don't know what to say about this one for me.
Okay.
It's a different type of hop profile.
Thank you.
I don't drink it.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Just
not.
like I'm just not a huge New England style IPA hazy.
So that would be more hops. Am I
It's a different sort of hop profile. Not to get too nerdy, but it's the hop profile is more in the back. It's not as bitter up front.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's okay. All right.
Smart.
See, I knew I had to. Did you try it yet?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
like
can move-
it.
You can move on.
I
No
had
worries.
it at the networking event.
The sconce time. I love the history with these. You know,
know.
with
I
your.
literally, as soon as we're done, I'm texting Cal. Did you seriously know they've got a drink for you?
I mean,
All right.
if you bring up me and my love of sconces, she'll probably figure it
That's
out
it.
pretty quickly.
Got it. I'm guessing that's a smidge sarcastic,
Yeah.
that we don't like sconces. Do
She was great.
you have any
Ooh.
sconces at home?
No sconces. No sconces.
never
No,
will.
no sconces in the
sconce-free.
garage?
Yeah, we're
It's a
sconce free.
free life from
Yeah.
us. No.
Sconce-free.
Yeah.
There's a sconce in the garage. It's just a light bulb swung over the rafters.
But it counts.
Yeah.
This is unexpectedly some. I don't usually go for the darker beers,
Oh.
but this is
So yum.
This is so
Right?
good. Yeah, it doesn't have chocolate in it, does it?
No, that's from the malt. So there's they roast malts to a certain degree, and that either makes it roasty or chocolatey or.
I'm in front of a fireplace with
Right?
snow coming down and just having a big one of these.
I'm not expecting to go to sleep anytime soon because there's a lot of coffee.
Oh, get out, really?
Oh yeah, it's
then
literally
it's
an
noon.
espresso style.
Okay, it's noon.
That's
Yeah.
a noon. Got it.
That's how we keep the shift workers moving.
Have as much sconce time as you want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I like that
it's
one.
a very good.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Now, I see you've got a non-alcoholic. Do you have snacks? Like, are there? I went through my list. What if I'm hungry and I don't want to order Kowloon?
We have really famous Utz chips.
Oh,
Quite the variety.
I've heard of those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have those imported.
Yeah, we have
Perfect.
those imported.
Excellent.
Yeah, we have jerky. We have a spicy nut mix from my friend at the Smoke Shop Barbecue. So yeah,
sounds
we
amazing.
that
Perfect.
That-
so
that-
the little
that's all
munchies.
we
Got
need,
the
yeah.
little salty, crunchy things
Exactly.
going,
Yep.
going
Yep.
along with it.
So
Well, believe
smart.
it or not, we're getting the.
Oh no!
I know it goes so fast.
you bring a little beer and that's it.
I know, right? Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming over.
Thank you.
We're
And
so
thank you
excited
for bringing
you.
this to Melrose.
Yes,
It's
yes. We wish you
special thing.
best of luck, wonderful success. I know I'm going to be there.
Yep.
Oh, just before I forget, that non-alcoholic drink.
Notch.
It's almost like a lemonade, right?
No, sorry. That's the hard limeade is our seltzer.
Oh yes.
The
yeah.
non-alcoholic is a non-alcoholic.
Oh,
beer.
okay.
Yeah.
But that
Limeade.
limeade
Yes.
Delicious.
Thank you.
again for a hot day.
Right.
Who knew?
And at the networking event, we actually had a couple of people that were like, I don't want to say this out loud, but we're not real big beer drinkers. I was like, that's okay. And they poured the limeade, and people were like, this is delicious. This is like exactly
like
like
a
a
treat.
seltzer or whatever.
Yeah, if I could just give a quick caveat on that.
Please.
We made it specifically for people gluten-free.
Oh,
'cause
awesome.
It is, however, made on the same equipment. So if you're a true celiac, I kind of really warned you about it. But
yeah.
like, if you're not a beer drinker or you want to live
Right.
the gluten-free
Or
lifestyle.
just like a sensitivity
Yeah,
or whatever.
absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've really covered the bases, guys. Yeah.
So other than telling people that you guys are at 364 Main Street and the beer is delicious, are you doing, like, would you do birthday parties? Would you do events? Like, are you open?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just you know.
You'd have to figure out the
find
time
our
that you're
email
not
and-
open.
yeah,
and
usually-
rent it.
Yeah, usually
Yeah.
3 hours. You know, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 to 10 type of thing.
Yep.
You know, rentals or whatnot. So.
Yeah, I love that.
We also
right?
reserve parts of the room as well. If
Okay.
you know, you have part of 20 or for the Chamber of Commerce event, you know, it's just a portion of the room, which is
Yeah.
always awesome.
And we have, the chamber has over 300 members, so if any of those members wanted to do events with you, you know, an employee appreciation night or something like that, you guys would be open. That's
I
great,
think I'm going to be living at Hannah's.
right?
I'll be telling my husband I'm going to MMT, but really, I'm going over.
But really, we're going for a flight.
But anyway, thank you all for watching. Again, it's Open Mic Podcast. We were talking about Hannah's Brewery, which is located at 364 Main Street. Super nice guys. Go down, have fun. Thanks for watching.